What's up, my brothers? I feel like I sometimes, like, I had this feeling that I have like autistic tendencies, and that's not like a secret. Like I've known this my whole life. I get scared when I'm like at the movies and the sound or the music is too loud. I fucking cover my ears. I like dinosaurs, man. I find dinosaurs really interesting. I have like really, I don't want to say like niche interest because that sounds cringe as fuck, but I find stupid things like really interesting, and I have difficulty with some textures. Like every time I go to my parents' house for dinner, my mom has like these like plates that have like a really, I don't know, it's like a really hard surface. Like, I don't know what the correct word is, like harsh maybe? And that shit just makes my skin crawl. I'm just like remembering the texture, I'm like, fuck. That's like the, you could say like the obvious autistic tendencies, but also in like my social skills are really autistic. Like I need to be like on manual mode when I'm like socializing. You know how, obviously you know how there's like manual cars where you need to like work the stick and the clutch and stuff, and then you have your automatic, how the fuck do you say that word, automatic transmissions, where you just drive, you just step on the pedal and that's it, you can drive. I feel like when I socialize, I'm always like working the clutch and working the stick in order to get my ass somewhere. And that's a pretty good analogy, actually. Doesn't make it like less enjoyable, obviously. You know, there's a lot of people that enjoy driving manual cars instead of the autos, but it's funny. But because, you know, I'm always talking about how I'm always in my thoughts and stuff, but it's actually kind of funny, and it feels like at least for me, it feels like a challenge every time I'm socializing with people. Obviously it's not with friends, you know, with friends I can let like the auto mode kick in, but if it's like a stranger, or if it's like, I don't know, like a girl or something, I do need to like be aware about everything everything I say and do, which is, it's kind of funny. I always laugh at myself because that's pretty autistic. Like I have to be thinking about how I'm standing or sitting, or if my posture's like funny or whatever. And I've always been like that. That's the funny thing. And I've always been looking for ways of changing that and making myself like a little bit more like an extrovert. But I just can't do that, man. I don't like forcing things either. So I've just learned to just embrace it. And like I said, I find the humor in that. And I know a lot of people think that's like that would be like stressful. But you have to keep in mind that if you're an extrovert, an introvert like myself sees the world really differently. I see a social interaction or like a night out at the bar like a challenge, but like actually like a fun challenge that I want to put myself in. I know there's like extreme introverts that really hate like social interactions, and they actually just avoid them entirely, and that's like the other extreme that I don't think is healthy, because, you know, we're social animals and we need to be out there. We need to be with other people, making people laugh and get people to make us laugh. I think that's where you can enjoy life the most, when you're like sharing whatever you enjoy with other people and you enjoy together. I feel like that's like life at its peak. And yeah, I don't know. I think calling myself an introvert is kind of too much, because I have many friends. I have like obviously my close friends, you could say I have like 6 or 7 close friends maybe, and I have, you know, like acquaintances, if you will. And then I have like my moments of like, I get my extrovert moments, and they're amazing, man. I don't know, like the words just flow. My humor is just on point, and it's fun when those, like, as an introvert, it's like amazing when those extrovert moments come, because you see that you're capable of just being an extrovert. But then I don't know, it's like really hard to, like, it's not something that you can just turn on and off, you know. It's something that just magically comes at times. And then I don't know if some of you guys might get this too, but when I'm overthinking about like social interactions, like say, I don't know, I'm going out to a bar with my friends, you know, there's gonna be girls and stuff, and you're always like thinking about, okay, this, like, you're prepping yourself, you're giving yourself like a pep talk about, okay, now you're gonna go out, you're gonna be nice, you're gonna be extroverted, you're gonna talk to people, you're gonna talk to strangers, and you're gonna make friends. That's like my mental process when I'm like at the pregame or whatever. And then all that pep talk and all that fucking prep talk that you do doesn't mean shit, because even though you do all that, when you get there, it's like the introvert kicks in like automatically, and you just can't do anything about it, which is funny. I know a lot of people find being an introvert like a curse or whatever, and it is at times. It can be shady when you know, like, you're at a good like social like setup or whatever, and you're thinking like, damn, if I was like an extrovert, this would be really fun. But that's where you gotta force yourself to do uncomfortable things. And like I said, right now it's hard when you're already there, because the introvert always wants to win that battle. But you can always force yourself. And I think that's the thing I want to say in this video, that the comfort zone it will never make you grow, like in any aspect. All the growth and all the good times, all the amazing memories that you create are always outside your comfort zone. Like, I bet like the fondest memories you have are not of the things you do in your comfort, like doom scrolling or like watching a comfort movie or whatever. You know, those kinds of things do bring like pleasure and stuff, but it's never the thing that you remember with I don't know, with love or with happiness. It's always a thing that made you push yourself out of your comfort zone that you remember the most. And I know if you're like an extrovert or something and you're watching this video, you're like, this guy just thinks too much. And yeah, I do, and I need to work on that. I need to sometimes, I mean, no, not sometimes, always, I need to just make sure I turn my brain off and just start living life. And I'm gonna try and do that, but you know, it's hard sometimes. But yeah, I shaved my mustache off because, fuck, man, I went out to a bar in San Diego, and every single fucking guy has a mustache now, and I feel like a sheep. Honestly, I feel like a fucking sheep. Like, there was nothing special about me when I had a mustache, and then I took it off, and I feel better. I feel like myself again. I'm never gonna grow my mustache again. Probably a beard, because I can grow a full beard, but right now I'm enjoying the clean shaven look. And yeah, speaking of that night out, it was a really good night out. Normally I always go out with one friend, with my best friend, and it's always like we really enjoy just listening to white girl music and dancing and being fucking retards at the bar. It's always so fun. And then you take pictures and videos, take pictures with random people, and there's always a good story. And it's funny because when I go out with that specific friend in that kind of specific setup where you get like specifically white girl music brings the extrovert out of me, which is kind of funny. For some reason, when I go to like places or bars that play like house music, it's just not my thing. I don't know why. But white girl music, man, fuck. That shit just I was gonna say it turns me up. No, but it doesn't turn me on. It puts me in a good mood. I don't know why. No, I do know why. I had an older sister. Well, she's still alive. I have an older sister in my teenage years, or like when I was like 8 or 9 or whatever. All my music influence was my dad, with like 80s or 90s dad rock, and my sister's like pop playlist or whatever. And at that time, the pop hits were just like literally like, I don't know, like Katy Perry, this girl that sings Unwritten, Natasha Bedingfield or whatever, like those kinds of songs. They're pretty funny. Like Rather Be, you know that song? If you gave me a chance, I would take it. That's one of the best songs in human history, in my opinion. But I also like John Mayer and stuff. I said that like if John Mayer was like a low-key indie musician. Well, I'm drifting out the main point. But yeah, I need to turn my brain off. That's the thing of having autistic tendencies, is that your brain is always running at 300%. I've been changing like my way, the way I think about social setups or social gatherings or whatever. And ironically, I enjoy my nights out when I don't think about any of this shit. There's times where I do overthink about everything, like I said, what I'm saying, what I'm wearing, how I'm standing. But it's always the times where I don't think about anything that I enjoy the most, like I said. When you don't think about stuff, you don't plan stuff, and if you don't plan stuff, there's always something exciting on the horizon if you don't plan anything. That's why people say that the best nights out are the ones that are like unexpected or unplanned. Like when your friend tells you like, hey, let's just grab a couple of beers, be chill, and come back home. And that's like the actual vibe you want, but then for some reason, instead of drinking 2 beers, you guys drink 6 beers each, and then you start jumping bars and end up having like one of the best nights of your life. I think that's because you don't go out with any expectations. I think that's the secret. Just don't have any expectations, and if it's a chill night, that's good. You sometimes do need a chill night. But if it's not, and if it's something like a crazy night or whatever, you didn't have any expectations, and now you had a crazy night, and now that's one of the best memories in recent years. So I think not having expectations is a really big thing when it comes to enjoying life. Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I want to say. I'm gonna keep making these videos in English because for some reason in my past video I got 2 comments, which is the most amount of comments I've ever had, and both of the comments were like positive. And it was my first video in English, so I don't know if the algorithm is pushing these videos to Americans, or I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna keep posting in English, and I actually enjoy making videos in English. I need to practice my English and my pronunciation, as you can tell. I always say I don't have an accent, but when I do these videos and I watch them back, I'm like, fuck, I do need to work on my pronunciation. So yeah, that's basically it. So take care, brothers, and have fun. Get out of your comfort zone. Peace.